Spinx is a C-store based retailer out of Greenville, South Carolina. We operate roughly 107 locations, whether it's a convenience store with gas, tunnel car washes, or like a Spinx market that we have here in downtown.
So one of the use cases that we're going to dive into today that Hannah mentioned quickly as well is the age-restricted products, right? So they're the use case that kind of came up, especially as we started getting additional context of transactions with the video, was how do we proactively manage age-restricted products, ensuring that we're following the right policies? Can you explain to us a little bit more around what it looks like day in and day out to be selling age-restricted products, your expectations of ID verification, and what it looked like before, and then we'll dive into a little bit of what it looks like now with Solink at play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Previous to Solink, it was a lot of manual, searching, video reviews, standing there, just observing secret shoppers. And it was very complex. Sometimes the data wasn't accurate or wasn't always getting captured correctly. With the ability with Solink, though, we were able to have that point of sale information, at our fingertips and also visualize it. So that way we had more accurate numbers. We were able to really see where our issues were, whether it's, not validating the idea at all, instant approvals. Here in South Carolina, we have very high premiums for insurance on liquor liability. A lot of businesses are closing down out here because they can't afford the insurance to carry alcohol in their businesses. So this is a huge part of, the risk that we carry out here to be able to sell alcohol or age-restricted items. Whether it's tobacco or other things. So we wanted to make sure that we put emphasis on tracking age-restricted item sales, how the ID verification steps were done, who was doing them, and what the training or lack thereof was around what it looked like for age-restricted items.
Awesome. So yeah, as we can see, the solution to the use case here was really connecting the existing cameras across Spinx location with that POS data, and being able to show that reporting. So have that visual representation of the transactions that are being processed at your location. And as you mentioned, are we looking at and seeing the values that we'd expect to see around the instant approval ID verification versus manually entering that date of birth? So here, what we can see for everybody who might not be familiar with the Solink platform, what we're able to create whenever we have that POS integration is we're able to create use cases and drill down into specific situations. So here, the top graph that we see is the visual representation around all the locations that at this convenience store, the ones that have had age verification. So we can see we have just over 25,000 transactions in a day that have age verification products sold with them. And we're able to compare here the number of transactions where the workflow was followed for an instant approval. So we're seeing 25,000 compared to about 10,000. Brandon, if this was your locations, what are you expecting to see here when it comes to instant approval versus a manual date of birth input?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this, obviously you have a lot of age-restricted transactions, and you want to be able to make sure that if you're hitting instant approval, anywhere close to that number, you'd want to be following up and just seeing what's going on in your stores. Part of that could be lottery or it could be, some other form of age verification, but it gives you some visual, numbers and representations like, okay, we need to dig in, whether it's a time of day, is it a certain person? What does that training look like for them? There's so much here that you can really dig into. And then, are they entering the ID? Are they asking when you listen to the audit, the audio of the transaction? What does that sound like? Are they, what's your date of birth? Are they asking all the right questions? And using this information, really focus, where you may need to focus your training, whether it's first shift, second shift, third shift for us in these instances. Really take time to dig in and really fine tune your process. There's a lot of information here that you can utilize. We took that information and we restructured some of our training and policies around it. Put up a lot more signage and really, enforce our associates to ask, for their ID or their date of birth. I tell them all the time that, the state law enforcement agent, you may be selling somebody alcohol or tobacco or another age restricted item, and you sell it to them every day, and you know they're of age. But whether it's the state enforcement agent, the FDA, or some other individual, they don't know that. So every time that you sell something, you have to be asking and checking the ID, validating, looking over the ID, not just looking at it and scanning it, but actually verifying that what is presented on the ID is what you see visually in front of you with the person. And then, as well as, are they asking the date of birth or are they just entering a number? Without asking what their date of birth is. So it really helped us enforce, focus, and restructure policies and procedures around age-restricted items.